This is Richard back at you. We got a little bit of Christmas special for you guys this weekend. We got Renee's 2002 GMC 6.0 in here, a 4-wheel drive with a 480E tranny in it. We're going to be rebuilding the tranny, the transfer case, and the differential. Now we already got the tranny out. We got the transfer case over here. We're going to do a second video on it too as we tear it down today here shortly. So this tranny has been built before. We noticed when we took it out we had bolts in wrong places, nuts missing, wires not hooked up, grounds in wrong places, and all kinds of stuff. So we'll get all that straightened up when we get it put back together. Now this is a later model. Like I said, it's an 02. It does have a rear mount cooling system in it. It lubricates from the rear to the front. Then you have the earlier design. You can see here that used to be machined in here for a cooler line that used to be here. Now this does have a GM remanufactured sticker on it, which is a really, I've never seen a blue one, so this is really, really early, and I've been doing it a long time, so they used to be always just silver and gray.
Silver, yeah.
Kind of different color. But if you go back here and look, it's got a 13 of 09, but I don't remember GM ever having a blue torque converter. Now if anybody remembers that, you can correct me in the statements or something. It's something I've never seen. I've seen a lot of GM remanufactured trannies. So, but we're going to be shift kitting this one, putting all the good Allison clutches in it, and roller bearing the tail housing in the back and stuff like that. So we're going to do a lot of neat stuff to make it last. He just wants the longevity. He don't want no hard shifting tranny. He just wants to pull his trailer and it lasts for a long time. So let's kind of get this thing apart and see what it looks like.
That's about the prettiest baby blue converter I've seen.
It sure is, huh? Converter's starting to get a little bit of wear on it. You can feel it with your finger through here. Got some ruts through here. But it's been in there a while. Looks like it's been getting deep into the pump gear. You can see the wear from the pump gear.
Oh, yes, sir.
It's really getting good. So the converter was really shimmed good, or built really good on spacing between the flywheel and the converter. So we do have our lockup O-ring here. Now we're going to be modifying the lockup system on this thing too to give it a lot firmer lockup. Sonex makes a really nice kit for this tranny that we're going to be using. I'll show you that later in the video, show you what it looks like. So, we've got our speed sensor here, our input speed. So this thing's going to be getting rear speed off the transfer case of the differential. I've unplugged 3 speed sensors on the transfer case, so it's probably going to be getting the one off the rear on the driver's side rear. So, and this would be just a dummy. Now, even though it's a dummy, you want to change the seal.
Because it might not be a dummy.
You still want to change it, even though it's just a little dummy. You want to put a new O-ring on here.
Hate for it to leak.
Yeah, you don't want no leak, so.
Nice.
Off here. Now you can see how this cooler line fitting has that extension that we've talked about in earlier videos. You have an O-ring right here, goes on here, and then you have an O-ring in here and a clip that holds the cooler line on, and then you have a plastic piece that slides over it that locks the ring on. If it don't have it, put a tie strap or something on it. It's got to have it, or the cooler line will still pop off, even though it has the retainer. So it has to have that extension on there to reach the ceiling and the support. So write that down.
Write that down.
And here, now I talked about our connector leaking fluid. This has a little bit of fluid in it. You can barely see it. The pins are kind of glossy. You can see it around the white part of the ring there. You can see transmission fluid.
Yep.
So we got a brand new harness and stuff that's going in this thing. That's just a mandatory thing. You always replace this. If they're not leaking now, they're going to leak later. So let's put a new one in it.
How many miles were on the truck? I can't remember.
Let me see here. 187,000 on this one here.
187,000.
Now that's on the truck.
Correct.
Now this tranny, I do not have a clue. Now, it has been rebuilt. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. He wanted it just to make sure that he didn't have any issues.
He did drive it to us.
Yes, he drove it all the way from California to get this work done.
Thank you, Callie.
You know, we're in the middle of the United States. It's really not that far.
Kind of perfect, honestly.
Coast to coast.
Yeah, coast to coast.
Even from top to bottom.
Yep. Yes, sir.
You can see how clean this pan looks. Really nice. So hopefully we ain't got any hard part damage or anything like that. Even though the pan looks nice, that doesn't mean anything until you get these apart and you clean them up and start inspecting them for wear.
See how the filter just fell off though?
Yeah, here guys.
I don't know
Now,
when
this
you...
has the right filter on it, but this seal right here must be really bad. See, the seal's bad. That's why it just fell off.
Yep,
It's sucking air through here. Anytime you get a new seal from a part store or something like, or a new filter, it's gonna come with a new seal. So always change that out right there. It's kind of hectic to do sometimes, but that's what you get. If it leaks air, might as well not even have a filter on there. So because the seal is above the fluid. So that's where you're gonna have an issue at. So
Yes,
but that
sir.
just fell right off into the
Wow.
right there. So they put a new filter on it, but did put a new seal here, and you
Correct.
You just can't do that. Of course, we have a hard gasket here. These gaskets are pretty nice, but once they're wore out, guys, they're wore out. Now this, actually, even though it's a rear lube style later design, it's an early design lube style electronics part of it. It's got an early style solenoid and stuff like that. If I can get that off her. There we go. Then we have your Pwm solenoid right here. Now, this thing already has a Transgo shift kit in it. If you notice here, we have a blow-off plate and valve and spring right here. This tranny is capable of making 300 pounds of pressure and splitting the case, breaking drums, blowing pistons, seals, all that type of stuff when we start getting wear in the pump, boost area and stuff like that. So what they designed right here is a blow-off valve to where it can never do that. So that's a kit that we always put in every one of ours. So this one does already have it in there. So now you get over here, this tube right here is what we call a lube tube. It lubricates the rear bushing in the case, and it also lubricates, if it's a two-wheel drive, it lubricates the tail housing bushing because it is physically pressurized. 480E and very few trannies have a pressurized tail housing bushing. They're all just sprayed on, you know, have a little cup in the back of the case. It just has a little hole in it that sprays at it, you know, all the time. Well, this one physically has pressure that keeps the pressure sealed up. And I'll show you, let's see. Yeah, I can't show you on this one here, but we got our two shift cylinders right here. And then we have our pillow switch. Now you can come here and look at this Transgo kit. These things are really nice. We put one in every unit that we build on a 480E. You can see there's a hole right down in here. We take and drill that hole, and then we take a metal ball and kind of seat it and pull the ball out, and then we use this seat right here to on this pin and stuff right here in the spring to seal it. But then if it makes any type of crazy pressure, it'll lift it up and fluid will come out these two holes here. So that way it can't break any parts, or because this tranny here will do it.
Right.
If you take and lose power on this tranny, if you disconnect it while it's running, you can break some stuff in this thing. Let me tell you, this thing can make some big time pressure. It's got a pump, massive pump in it. That's what mainly the problem is.
That 632 was wired that way, remember? They had it wired, Max.
What pressure we were?
Oh, it winds
a
so.
car come in here that put out some crazy pressure. They had it wired, but they could just flip a switch and deactivate the pressure control solenoid, and it just go max pressure. My old gauge would just stand up. My hose it's so hard, and I'd go, holy moly, turn this thing off.
Yeah, I think it made it whine. It was bad.
Yeah, we got that straightened out for him and told him never to use it, and we reprogrammed it for him, and that works really nice.
It was beautiful.
So we have your standard pillow switch. The pillows are really dirty. Like I say, these click right here. And when fluid hits them, it tells the computer what gears it's in, that it's made the shift. So, pretty simple here, guys. Hope y'all enjoying your weekend. You're going to enjoy your Christmas. Now we're going to put a Sonex Pwm valve and stuff in the valve body. I'm going to give you a general idea of kind of what it looks like. Now these are your accumulators here. I'm asking, kind of like this. Got the plastic pistons and stuff in them. So I'm going to get in here and get to this. Now Sonex makes a really nice valve that we don't kill the PWM on a 4L80E like we do a 4L60E. We still let it pulse on. But Sonex makes a really nice valve. Like, guys, I'm going to open this up and show you really quick. Got a little bit of time.
Razor blade?
Yes, sir. Got one real handy.
Probably not the best one, but don't cut yourself with it.
This is a really cool kit. Now, since this is a PWM system, the valve's always working back and forth, so you get wear in the bore. And what they do is they give you a little sealing ring that goes on this valve right here. Like that. That way, when the fluid hits it, it blows that seal out, and the valve's able to seal in the worn out bore. Well, then they give you two different spring sizes for if you want a firmer shift for towing, or you want your standard shift feel for your normal cars and trucks. Now, it's kind of rough to get it in a little bit. You pull this pin out right here. You pull the solenoid out, pull the pin out, the valve and spring comes out, you put your spring on the end of it, stick it back in, put the pin back in, put it all back together, you're done. Real simple. But guys, this is a must on every one of these units, I'm telling you, because this tranny is capable of, when it warms up, just losing lockup just because of that one little valve right there. So, it's a good valve to put in there and a very good product. So, like I said, this thing here should have the rest of the shift kit put in it. And I can't really show yet because they've already done it and stuff. They take apart here and they add some spring and a plug and some stuff through here too. But those Transgo kits work really good for these 4L80Es, guys. Now these trannies here, we don't leave any check balls out, performance-wise or anything like that. We modify the plate, modify the valve body to do any type of performance stuff. All the check balls go back in. So you can see this thing's got a few of them. But if you notice, one could go there. Looks pretty there too, doesn't it? But if you look at your plate, there's no place for it. So don't ever put one there. You got your engine braking band. Servo right here. Now these pins do break sometimes right here, and you can lose engine braking, seal wear, anything like that. I don't see much wear in a wobble. I just see this clip breaking a lot. Stuff like that. So, I was gonna air check a bunch of stuff for you guys, but I know it's gonna spray fluid on me. So it's probably gonna spray on my face and all that type of stuff, so I'm not gonna do that. So let's see.
Maybe another day.
Yeah, I'll do it another day. I almost did it anyway, but not better. Because it is really cool to air, when we build these back, to air check everything and to hear everything and watch everything work inside. You know, and when I build my units, I air check everything out as it's on the bench and everything like that. That way I can physically see it move. And then when I put it in here, I re-air check it and listen to it move and all that type of stuff. That way I know if I have an issue, I need to adjust any type of shift feel or anything like that. I never have to go back into the drum of the tranny. It's always something minor in the valve body, make a hole a little bit bigger, stuff like that. But normally when I'm making 1,000+ horsepower when we start seeing we have the large holes and stuff like that. So you got your reverse band servo here. Now we see these things break too. This got a really small clip on it right here. Plus they start getting wobbly. Your accumulator piston here. And he's got rubber seals. They also make them with a hard seal, like a Teflon seal. So. I left my Allen wrench back there somewhere, Trent.
Somewhere.
Yes, sir. Let me hook it up. Grab it real quick. This one, I can't remember. I just pulled the center support bolt out. Do you see how long that is right there? Well, 400 one's about half that length. They are not interchangeable. Don't try to do that. I've ruined one trying it just to see if I could do it, and now you can't do it. So, I get this. Now this is your overdrive center support bolt here. Now this is a hollow bolt too, just like your center support bolt. If you notice, fluid goes through the bolt. Same way with this one here. Now this is a shift kit bolt. The other bolts are aluminum, and they take a Torx bit instead of an Allen bit. And this bolt here is hollow too. Okay, so pretty neat. That's how your overdrive clutch is applied to that.
It's amazing how they made it work. Well, we put that bolt there. Well, I guess we're gonna have to drill through it to give fluid to something.
But we're replacing this here too. This is your temp sensor here. New one over here, actually right here in the back. Put it gonna fit. Really nice. So. Excited, looking for another bolt to use that thing on. Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, no, calm down.
Trigger happy. No.
These old pumps here are heavy.
They're big.
They're made out of some metal. Yes, sir. Now, this is a rear loop pump. I'm going to show you how you identify it. Got a little cut in there. I'll show you. Right here, guys. Now, they do make a universal pump, like if we buy remanufactured or something like that. It'll come with a little capsule and stuff in the box, depending on what year I want to use the pump in. So that's pretty cool that they make them like that now. But to really identify a rear loop pump, it looks just like that. If it don't have that marking in there, it's not a rear loop pump. So rear loop from the rear to the front.
Pretty sweet.
You got your converter feed valve, your lockup valve, your pressure regulator valve through here. Now this does have a shift kit pressure regulator valve and stuff in it. I'll show you what that looks like. This your boost valve. Aftermarket's going to be hollow like that. Not all of them. Your OEM is not. It'll just be a solid metal valve. You got your washer. Got your inner spring. And your big one. Just like that. Now they make different versions of this too, so you got to be careful. So they make some with no stem. So the shift kit will tell you to put a spacer in there. If depending on what valve you have, so you got to watch for that. Now they do make different O-rings in your kits too. They'll come with a Teflon ring that you have to resize, or they'll come with a hard ring like this. Oops. Let me get off things. Sit down.
Looks like it's been warm. Has it been warm a little bit, or? This thing got some pretty good miles on it. I don't know since it's been rebuilt though. We're looking at say 187 on the truck, so we're really not sure. Right.
So this is a hard ring right here, and then they make a white Teflon ring that we use resizers to resize the ring back on the stator or the shafts. But it's builder preference on what to use. I like these; they work pretty good. I wouldn't use them in a race car application, but for towing and stuff like that, because we're going to stay with standard pressures, these will work really good still, so you'll be fine there. Of course, you want to look at your pump, guys. Now 480E's got a massive pump. Massive pump. That's why this pump will break stuff when you have a boost valve issues. Like I was telling you, if you have a boost valve issue and this thing spikes pressure, this pump's big enough to blow this tranny in pieces. Same way with the connector. If you unplug this tranny, this pump will go to max pressure and it's big enough to break stuff. Look how big that gear is. Now you can look here too and see how far that converter was going in there for depth. Really nice. When I talked earlier in the video, I was showing you on the converter hub where the wear pattern was on the stem of it. Well, look here, you can see really nice. You could have went a little bit farther, but myself, I would have looked at it, checked it and see, because you can go too far. You got to be really careful. People understand, Richard, I put it in right. Well, you didn't. So, now if you come here and look too, now this tranny, they did put a new bushing in it when they built it. You can tell everything looked good, but you can tell the wear is starting to get on the motor. Look at this, guys. Now, this does have all the dowel pins in the block, and the dowel pins are good. They're not junk, they're not wobbled out. So this thing is centering good. The only other way you might see this is if the converter hub was on different, but I think you'd see it on a true wobble all the way around. Right. But since it's on the bottom only, I'm saying the crankshaft is starting to set low in the motor. This is a pretty obvious problem we see. We see it with 4L60s all the time. I mean, I can go in and grab a handful of bushings and show you this problem. So what's good about it, 4L80E's got a lot wider bushing that will help support the converter hub and stuff like that still, but it's going to push it out. Now, if they did the shift kit right and everything, they drilled out the converter drain back right through here to relieve the pressure on this seal. You can see this channel right through here, and then it'll come out right down through here. Now, when we knock the seal out of it, we will check for that. If they didn't do it, we'll do it. So they don't have no seal retainer, nothing like that. So they really don't have no issues, but they do want you to do that in the shift kit. So, and the pump does look really nice. I don't see any wear in that respect, just the bushing wear like we were showing you. You got a picture of that?
Yeah, that was good.
Cool. Okay, now look at this here, guys, how this
They have this upper plate right here anchoring to this pin to keep the center support from spinning. Now you seriously didn't think that little bitty bolt I showed you kept that center support from spinning, that little bolt. They actually use this right here. Now if you take this plate out, I'll just go ahead and pull this out, make it a little easier. I just wanted to kind of show you how it's still in there, but if you take this clutch plate out, because that's all that is. Come on. And it's only on that one plate. See, the rest of it, you grab this thing, it'll turn. Nothing. So if that wasn't there, this little bolt wouldn't have no chance of staying there and fluid going through that bolt all the time. It'd finally just wobble it out and just break it. So, but that's what they use right there to stabilize that like that. And here's your overdrive clutch. Looks really nice. Not burnt, just slipping a lot. You can see here. That's why we like to drill the feed holes a little bit in the plate to shorten these shifts up a little bit. That's just that old stock granny feeling type shift. Get this here. Well, this thing here is pretty amazing. It's easy to take apart, but to put together, it's a treasure. I could do it in 5 seconds, but
yeah, he can make it look easy.
Kind of crazy.
But it's not.
Push that down, get the snap ring over that lock, and then come back around and kind of work it. Like that. It's not too hard to put back together as long as you have something to hold everything up. But the hardest thing is you have a seal here, you have a seal here. So now when you put this all back together, you kind of got to hold it kind of like that. I'm going to take my little tool and you kind of work that around like that. Hold it, flip it.
See how he switched his hands grabbing the other piece?
Like that. And normally I can take it and go, look at that.
Yeah, right.
Now let me tell you what, you ain't doing that at home.
No, you're not.
Let me show you how great it is.
I love it. I love it.
And it's a little harder with new seals.
Yeah.
So then we'll take that and set that like that. That way it can't fall apart. And then normally I'll take a Phillips screwdriver. There's something that'll go in that won't fall in that hole. And that's where I'll kind of start it. Kind of like this. Kind of set it in there. Under that first land right there.
Yeah.
Now you got to keep it pulled over here because it tries to pull it. But as you go, but if you do it right, you can slowly walk it around. Like that. Come on. And normally I put a Phillips screwdriver in that hole.
Right.
But this will go through the hole, so I didn't want to miss going getting a screwdriver. But there you go. You always want your openings away from these. That way it can't blow out or anything like that. There you go.
Well, you heard it best from yours truly.
Guys, call me when you get it in there.
Yeah. I want to see what time record y'all got it in, because that was like a minute.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you'll learn off putting that back.
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
Okay, we're going to take our overdrive section apart and planetary and stuff and look in here. Get this little planetary part right here. Now, as I say, he brought this all the way from California for us to do this, guys. We're really excited to be able to do it. So, really nice, no wear, anything like that. A little Scotch-Brite on be your friend on this thing. Okay, that'll shaft look brand new. Take our overdrive planet out of here. And look where the sprag runs. Look, that looks really nice. Again, Scotch-Brite's your friend. Come in here and look here. This is where your bushing runs. Down here for this drum. Scotch-Brite's your friend. Come in here, look at all these thrust plates right here back and forth. Look at all your teeth for any wobbling. anything like that. For any type of spline wear in here, they're bad about that too. You got to really watch that. Now also, anytime you get a high mileage one of these trannies, this Overdrive sun gear right here always gets beaten, guys. Haven't seen one yet that I haven't had to replace. I mean, it's just a common problem. Now this is your engine brake clutch right here. Still looks good. You notice how they put holes in the steels to get the oil off the clutch? That way the clutch can apply better. It's not to lighten the clutch up or anything like that. It's physically to get the oil off the clutch. That way it does, because there's so much oil. There's so much oil being sprayed into here. That's why they have to do that.
Right.
They're just flooding that overdrive system with oil. So.
I can see that. Yes, sir.
But if you get a brand new drum, which this is a new drum, let me get this overdrive drag off there. These usually break when I get them off, but I'll take it off later. But this has a bonded piston in here you take out. Our kit that we use right here has all the bonded pistons that we'll be putting back in the tranny. And this piston goes down in this drum like that. We'll take it apart. But we always see wear on these sun gears, on these sides of these gears here. This thing's so small and a load on it. I mean, I don't have my glasses on to see if I can see pitting and stuff, but I think I can see it. But like I say, when we get done with the video and we're taking hand clean these up to where I put my bifocals on it and really look at this stuff good so you can see it, because it's so easy to miss stuff in these videos. But this is a common drum to replace no matter what. It's going to be bad pretty much on all of them. So, but this is what a bonded kit looks like. Comes with all the new pistons. Comes with the inner seal.
Cool.
Pretty nice stuff. Now this tranny, like I said, it's going to get all of our outlets and clutches. Now this drum right here is your forward drum. This bushing has a bad problem of wearing. And Trent, if you look in here, can you see that drum? Well, starting to wear right there. And what that is, can you zoom in on that, Trent?
Yep, you can see that.
Now if you look here, see these two sealing rings? That hole right there is what applies the forward clutch. So once this shaft starts rubbing in here, it starts wearing out these sealing rings, and then next thing you know, you start losing your forward gears. Now what causes that is this bushing wears right here. This sun gear sets in here, this sets down in here like this. Now this thing starts wobbling, this shaft starts wobbling, it starts wobbling inside the drum. So, but all these get Teflon rings. They don't come with any different style ring. They have to be put on and resized. We have a kit over here that I have that we do all that stuff with, so. Now this is your forward clutch here. Hub out first, and then I'm going to empty it. Now since this has a bonded piston in it, this tranny didn't have as big issue of breaking the pistons when it had pressure spikes and stuff like that. It was more breaking the band, the reverse band or something like that. Once they got away from the old cheap aluminum piston, then they did stand up a lot better, but they still had issues with high line pressure problems. So you can get in here and look at your forward clutch. Not wore out, just you can see starting to pit places here and stuff. So got your wave. Now remember, you're going to find a wave in third gear on this tranny. If you take it out, you're going to cause issues. And we also like to look at this hub here. They make two of them. They make a cast iron and they make a steel one, and we're going to listen. Did you hear that ring? That tells me that's a good one. This one we could put in a race car or anything like that. It's not made out of pot metal. It's physically made out of steel. These you don't ever see spline wear or anything like that. But they are different from a rear lube to a front lube. If you notice these splines right here, that's because this thing lubes from front to rear. If you put the early design in here that doesn't have these, you just cut the oil lubrication off going towards the front. So this tranny here is really critical when you start changing parts. You have to better watch a lot of my videos because that's where it's gonna get you if you don't, if you're never messed with it. We're gonna get down here to the third gear clutch. Now this is called your third reverse clutch, guys. And it's gonna have a bonded piston in it, just like your other one did. Now it is a different piston. Now here's your third gear clutch. It's called your high reverse. It's got a wave. If you take that wave out for a performance application, it's fine. But you better expect a very harsh reverse if you don't have a high stall converter in this thing. But for like this gentleman here, you have to leave the wave in there just to protect yourself in reverse. And modify your third gear circuit for your shift. Because this drum has a 2-circuit piston in it. One for reverse, one for third. So that's how you got to be careful when you do this. When I talk about customer complaints, this is customer complaints. So you got to be really careful. People don't like their cars banging into gear. So you got your intermediate sprag, second gear. Now they did get away from just your open type snap ring. They went to a dual wrap style, and you got to kind of get it turned. It's got a little lock right here, and you turn it to this opening right here, and then you can grab it and pull it out, just like that. You got to kind of turn this, that one there, because it's a dual lock, to it too, and then you can grab it and pull it out, and then there you go. Instead of just a single, type snap ring. Now you want to look for wear here too. We see these things stripping. Next thing you know, this will start spinning and it'll take the snap ring off. Especially the early design that's just got an open snap ring. Of course, you have your intermediate sprag. I'm going to check here for any type of chatter marks, anything like that. This tranny's looking really nice when it's coming to hard parts. So, same way here. Any chatter marks, Scotch-Brite's your friend. Same way with here, Scotch-Brite's your friend. So, we'll get in here and get your engine brake band. Now these are wider than your normal 400s. I've never stuck one in a 400, never seen the reason for it or anything like that. I think they just did this for heavy towing, engine braking, trying to stop things from flying down the mountain or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Sounds good.
Well, you can slip that band.
Right.
So with the earlier models, when you got these things that tow a ton of weight.
Correct.
So you have your 4-clutch intermediate here. Now we're going to stay with the 4-clutch. We're going to go with a different style clutch. You always want to leave your wave in there too, because you leave these waves out, man, it beats on the sprag like crazy. So, and then here you got customer complaints too. This thing, if you leave any waves out of this for him, it'd be a bad deal. So he would not like it. We're going to get our bevel snap ring out of here. The snap ring only goes in one way, just like a 400 tranny. And they will interchange. This snap ring will fit the 400, the 400 will fit in this tranny. But it is that bevel snap ring. So don't be getting them mixed up, guys. Bevel goes out, flat in, clutch is steels, flat one to the top. Real simple. We'll get our center support out here. Now this is where your lower sprag runs. Scotch-Brite's your friend. Then you have your steel washer in here. If it has a plastic, find you a steel one or a brass one. I'm doing them 400 trannies for my roundy round guy in Kansas. See, those 400s are getting all brass stuff in them and getting the plastic out of everything. So, of course, you hear same thing. You have options of your standard Teflon ring or your ones that you have to put on and resize.
Correct.
So, Then here's that lube hole circuit right here for that long cooler line. What I do about that?
You might have put it in the pan. I'm not for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, it sticks to the case and sticks right in that hole right here. So if you put anything different and it doesn't reach that hole, then your lube oil is going to go right into the pan and it's going to burn all the gear train out of it. So, and it does take a special center support bushing. Now your front cooler line style takes your standard 400 center support bushing to fit right in there. The rear wheel style physically takes a different one. So. Now we do have a snap ring that goes in the case back here for your center support, just like the 400. Sets in here like this. So if you have one left over in this little thin flimsy thing, that's where it goes. Of course, here we have your reverse band. Tips are pretty good. It probably looks pretty thin. So we got him a nice new band over here. See here, got a lot thicker material. So, gonna be exciting. And we got our rear thrust washer and plate. Now we're gonna upgrade this to a roller bearing. We're gonna get rid of this. We just like doing this. It just makes them 10 times stronger. Keeps the end clearance better in the back of them and stuff. So. Now here's a special bushing, guys. If you put just solid round bushings in there without these grooves, you just cut off your lube circuit, because your lube circuit goes through these bushings down the very center of these shafts. I'll take part of it. That's how it lubes. So, actually I just did a 400. What's together, I'd show you. Same way here. You can make this here, take this washer, this plastic washer, where it's a 2-hole, sets in here like this. You can go get you one of these washers and cut the tabs off of it and set that steel washer right down in there. See,
Upgrade.
Upgrade. That way, taking all the plastic out of here. And we got your sprag assembly. Now some of these have legs on them like this, some of them don't. The early design did not have a leg. They actually had the leg, the piece of metal that stood it, that went down in here like a ring that's the sprag set down on top of. So they will interchange as long as you put the right sprag in the right drum. So now this is your reverse drum, your band goes around. Your planetary assembly. Look for any wear in your thrust washers, any pitting in your teeth on both sides. Trying to get some wear. You see how bushing starting to be thinning out. Definitely, guys, this is another thing that we do here. To everyone we do. This planet right here is bad about these pins moving this direction. And once it does, it takes out this washer. Now, if you notice, these are really close. These haven't started moving yet. But every one of the ones that we did for the 400 that going in the round around car, what we do, we come in here and we TIG weld the back side of these pins. Every one of them all the way around. That way these pins can't walk this direction and take out this thrust washer. A very common problem. That's one thing that's free over there. So this sun gear here too, same way, it's special. Got the 4 hoses for lubrication to go down it. So you don't want to put an early design. Two hole, 4 hole. If you put that in there, you just blocked off lubrication going forward. So that's a pretty critical thing, guys. Part really quick. Now they do make 2 different style bushings that go in here. You'll get when your bushing kit comes in, just match it up. Same and we're down in here. We see a lot of wear right through here. Now this, see, this bearing sits in here like that. You check these bearing races on both sides. This bearing comes apart for any type of pitting. Same way with this bearing right here. It's special, guys. See how it's got the 3 slots cut in it? Well, they make a single slot. Then I have one over here too. You picked it up earlier.
Oh, what did I do with that thing?
What did I do with that?
I thought I put it over there.
But the 400 one looks just like this, but it's solid round. It has no notches in it. If you put that in there, you cut off lubrication going forward. So it's everything lubes on the through the bearings and bushings and stuff like that. Instead of going down the center of the shafts and stuff, see there's no holes.
Right.
Well, if you grab a 400 one, see it lubes from the front to the rear. It's got holes, so everything goes down the center of the shafts.
Gotcha.
So it's a little bit of a deal. And you got your parking assembly, your planet. Look for any type of wear still here, any wobbling, stuff like that. So this is gonna be a nice train to build, Trent.
Yeah, not bad.
Yes, sir. We get to do a few more modifications, put some really nice clutches and stuff in it for this gentleman, and get him back going all the way from California, guys. We cannot believe it, but we enjoy doing those. It's just something we enjoy doing. We got his transfer case. We're gonna be doing another video on it too, so it'll be after this here, so you'll be able to see what it looks like too. So y'all need anything, give us a holler. But be careful. Subscribe. We love you guys. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Y'all have a great day.